Hello, welcome to another video on my attempt to get to the amazing 2400. This time I'm going to be doing a rapid game. And let's start off with a nice inoffensive Caro-Kann. I've done d5 a few times. I'm going to play something a bit weird. Let's go Queen c7, very unusual move. I mean, Knight f3 isn't the most common either. Now, Knight c3. I've already done a check system a few times. Let's play a bit ridiculous with f5. This move is objectively terrible, I'm sure, because I'm dropping a pawn for nothing. But you can get some fun positions from this type of thing. And white has not chosen to take me. Alright, fine. d5 could be interesting. Let's go for it. d5, like a Stonewall Dutch. So from the Caro-Kann at move 1 to possibly a Dutch by about move 5. This could be a very strange game. If d4, I go e6. And here we go. So we're in a very strange version of the Dutch. The plus side for white here is that e5 does restrain my pieces more. Downside is they can't go knight to e5. So I don't have as weak squares. Now, where do I put my king? I suspect I'll have to castle kingside, as in the normal Dutch, and my knights are going to have a real struggle going to e4. So white has done h4. This is an attempt to stop me castling on the king side, but I'm not going to listen to them. Knight e7, h5, okay. Right, knight d7, try and keep myself flexible. They go h6. I think I have to go g6. I can't open the position too much at this stage. So I'm playing a very weird opening here. The idea could be to play c5 and then like knight c6, and we're almost in a French, but just a rather unusual one. So that is the potential idea, to play c5. I can't do it yet though because of the knight b5 option going to d6, the octopus knight. Alright, they have done h6, so g6 is almost forced. Bishop g5 does look a bit scary, I have to admit. a6 might be okay? I don't know. Let's go a6. What this does is it stops knight b5 forever, so I am planning c5 next move. Trying to break out of my confinement. a4 for white. Yeah, okay, stopping b5. I wasn't planning to do that anyway yet. c5. Now, what strange, bizarre position are we going to get? See, how does white... It's difficult because I've played this absolutely ridiculously until move... Well, on move 10, on white's 10th move, I literally had all my pawns on light squares. So the black squares were massively underrepresented, under control. But now it's almost like a French, and because the center is closed up, white's kind of better pieces, better coordination, greater activity, it doesn't actually matter too much. So do I go knight c6 or do I take them? Probably just knight c6 is safe. And if they capture me, I'll take with the bishop to have my pieces more active. I then have an attack on e5, and generally I like my position. I wouldn't recommend doing this to any of you if you're hoping to pick up some opening tips. I'm just trying to, make the position a bit, a bit interesting. And who knows, maybe one day in the future, this position I could analyze it more deeply and perhaps write a book on it or something called the I don't know, the Caro Dutch or something. Okay, Queen d2, connecting their pieces. Alright, time to undermine their center. C takes d4. They take with their knight. I could take on e5. Then I do have bishop f6. This takes with a c knight. They take on e6. Nah, it's too good. Let's play knight takes knight. They have to take with their queen. Then I played bishop to c5, gaining a tempo. Then they go somewhere. Queen h4 possibly, maybe queen d2. Queen f4, okay, nice middle ground. Can I take with the queen? That's the big question. Queen takes queen, takes knight takes, bishop f6. Looks too good. So I know what I'll do. Like earlier, like my previous plan, I am going to castle. The pawn on their h-files actually blocked it up perfectly for me. As long as they don't have some weird like bishop h5 and then sacrificing on g6 and blasting their way through, I think I'll be okay on the king side. Now, what next for white? They're dropping their pawn on e5 without any tactics. If they castle queenside, they may be the one who gets attacked. My one piece that is still very inactive is the c8 bishop. But I'm not going to think about that right now. Knight takes or queen takes, one or the other. Queen takes is safer. I'll do queen takes. Knight takes, there was a pin on my queen. It looked a little bit scary. And trading the queens does stop any chance of them mating me. And I think it's more likely they mate me than I mate them in the next 20 moves or so. I also have to keep an eye on the time. This is 8 minutes with no increments. It's basically almost the same time as my Blitz games, except it's sort of in a different format. So I do have to keep an eye on things. If I go under 2 minutes, I really have to go quickly. Alright, so queen takes queen is certainly an option. I'll pre-move knight takes queen. They could do like queen d2. That's also possible. Perhaps I go d4, and that would give me an attack on their knight. If they went bishop f4 to hit the queen, I can go like queen f6, then bishop g5, queen f7. The worst case scenario, queen h8 straight away, and I'll be safe. So what is white going to play? They're now down to less than 3 minutes. Castling queenside, they've got queen takes queen, queen h4, queen d2. Not much else. I think all those moves I don't have much to worry about here. Because the plan at some stage is to push my e and d pawns. They're my trump cards. Okay, I didn't see that, I must admit. a5, wow, okay. So a5, I take the queen, I think? They take back, I go e5. They do something, I don't know, bishop g5. And then I go d4, potentially. Knight d5. Actually, it does look a little bit awkward for me to do this. Maybe I shouldn't push my pawns so early. Maybe I go d4 now. Then knight to a4. Yeah, things are actually looking a little bit awkward. Alright, well, go with the Dolmatov rule. Take the queen. Simple way of playing. Take that queen. Now d4 itself might be okay, but I don't like moving pawns in the sort of stage of the game. They're all protected, they're all working well together. Let's improve pieces. Knight to f6. Very simple move. And just like in the Dutch, I might get knight to e4. So finally get the knight to where it belongs. Knight to a4. Bishop takes f2 doesn't do a lot. Bishop to e7 looks okay, but it does allow knight b6. So bishop to a7 just looks so passive. Bishop d4, rook d1. Strange, where do I put my bishop? There's knight to e4 though. That's a safe move. But then, oh, then they take it and they go bishop d6. Okay, Patsa sees a check. I can't see anything else. It's really odd. Like my pieces are actually pretty bad. Bishop d2, and okay, let's just trade things and do knight e4 check. Play simple. And then figure out what to do. King d2. Alright, okay, I need to develop pieces. Bishop d7 hitting their knight, I'm trying to trade everything. Knight b6, I go rook to a d8. So there's no problem there. And again, all my pawns are on light squares. I kind of want them to take my bishop. It's one of my worst pieces. I guess I can go bishop c6 and just anchor everything together. How will white play this? Rook d1, yeah. Good move, I think. And bishop c6, playing it safe. Trouble is that it's hard for me to progress here. I probably have to push e5, d4 at some stage. But yeah, rook d3 stops me going e5. Rook d6 maybe? Yeah, rook d6. So I can double up the rooks and then push my pawn. Actually, I also had bishop to b5 as an idea to trade off bishops. That could have been better. Oh well. At least I've got more time than them. f3, I'll do something. Knight c5 maybe? Or knight f6. One or the other. Yeah, knight f6 just looks very, very safe. Defends my pawn on d5. I could have played knight g3 potentially, trading off pieces, but I do want to trade off bishops if I can. Alright, they've done... Ooh, I nearly blundered there. I could have done rook fd8, but then they can go c5, and I might actually get trapped. That would be bad. d4 doesn't work. e5 looks a bit suspicious. g5? Yeah, let's go for it, g5. I can't push the e or d pawn, so I have to push the g pawn. And then if c5, okay, fine, I'll just go back. Oh, b4, okay. Swing my king around to h6, maybe? Try to cause some problems on the king side. Rook a3, I'm not sure I understand it, but I guess it makes some sense. King g6, maybe? Yeah, king g6, just play it safe. I don't really understand what they're doing. Oh, okay, b5. Bishop e8, they go c5. Okay, I guess it makes the most sense to just take them. And then come back. I was hoping they'd do a6 and blunder. Alright, fine. Taking them probably is a bit suspicious. I just don't like them having that monstrously powerful pawn. Bishop takes b5 doesn't work. Rook d7 doesn't do a lot. Rook d8 is basically forced. I don't like them playing a6, but I think I have to allow it. Oh, knight e5. Okay, king takes. Don't know why they played that. Now a6, I have to actually think about this. a6, I've got 2.5 minutes, so I can't be too slow. Takes, rook a8. Okay, I can't be bothered to work this out. Pawn takes, rook a8. That surely is good for me. Yeah, rook a8. Block them from making a queen. My bishop dominates their knight. That's another good feature of the position. a7, yes. Now, knight d7. I want to trade off pieces. Dolmatov rule. If knight takes, bishop takes. Knight c6 is a potential move. But no, they took me. That's good. Rook to a1. Okay. Rook to c8, then to c7 maybe to try and target the pawn. We're down to 14 seconds. That's good for me. 8 seconds. Okay, then rook c7. d3. Get the king out of any pins. 1 second. And then rook takes. I don't know, I'll just play something awful. So they're down to like a second. And I win, hooray! That was very, very good. It got to 23.72 already. So my rapid is still going to be my highest rating, I think. I don't seem to have any takers for this game. Wait another few seconds and then... Oh, okay, I've got a 2080. 2. That's good enough. It's close enough to 2100. Let's do an Alekhine's opening with knight f6, e5, knight d5. I studied this and I played it in over the board games a fair few times. c4, I'm going to play something weird with knight b4, hoping it transposes to something I like. If it doesn't, I might be screwed, but I'm hoping I'm okay here. This might be at one of those positions where it's just completely winning for white because I've blundered. But if d4, d6, and okay, they went a3, that's fine. Knight c6 is basically forced. Whoops. Knight c6. d4? Yeah, d4, d6, I think. Okay, we're just in a strange position. F force. They're doing a 4 pawns attack. Time to capture, trade the queens off. Thank you for the pawn. There you go. See, playing weird can sometimes work out for me. And I'll pre-move capturing back, having a monstrous d4 knight. Yeah, I'm already winning at move 7 as black in the Alekhine. So it worked out. It wasn't quite what I intended from knight b4. The idea was if d4, d6, knight f3, pawn takes, knight takes, I might have a very, very strong position. But that didn't happen. Now what I can do is quickly develop all the pieces with tempo. So I'm in a wonderful position. Hitting e5 with my knight. If they are defending it with bishop f4, which does work out. Knight d7 to me looks like a good move. I'm aware they can go e6 and then bishop takes c7, but I think I get enough activity for it. So it's all looking good. I'm planning castling queenside, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, they are going e6. Fair enough. I don't want to take it with my pawn, that would be so bad for my pieces. Bishop takes c7, absolutely. Rook c8 looks good. Bishop's almost trapped. Bishop f4 or bishop g3 or something is my guess. And then I can't really move the e-pawn easily, so the g-pawn will have to do. Bishop g7, Finkesso. And then castle kingside. All of black's pieces have been activated. I am still 1 pawn up. Kept my 2 bishops. White king is really inactive. Their rooks are not connected together. King c2 is, I'm sure, okay. Knight a5 looks good here. I don't know what they do. Knight a5 looks very, very good. Attacking their pawn 3 different times. b3 would open up plenty of lines to their rook from my Finkesso bishop. Yeah, I'm really liking this. What do they do here? Knight d2 might be best. Bishop d3. Okay. So knife c4 looks very, very strong. Want another pawn. And knight e3 is a potential move. Knight to e5 is also interesting. Knight takes b2 now is a move I'm considering. And by considering, I mean play it without too much forethought. You know, I'm just dominating the board with my pieces. Now, they may have been thinking of Petrosian's idea of rook takes e6, but they don't have enough pieces to back it up, and they have indeed not castle, they've resigned. Because they didn't castle, they pretty much had the worst of it. 23-74. If I can win one more game in Rapid against, say, a 2000, I'll be 3/4 of the way to getting to 2400. Which would be a huge milestone I wouldn't have achieved before. However, we've got some slim pickings at the moment. There aren't really any players who are above 2000 who want a Rapid game. I'll create a challenge in a few moments if there are no other players to do so. They all want Bullet, which I still haven't really got round to doing much of. I'm sort of stuck at around 2270 for Bullet. Can't really hit 2300, partly due to myself, but also the laptop is not equipped for that type of chess. Alright, I'll create a challenge. Let's make it 10 plus 5. That'll give me enough time. to play fairly well. Again, anyone in 2000 to 2900 range. I think the highest player in the world on live chess is like 2700. But just in case anyone does get to Magnus Carlsen level, let's have a sort of buffer of 2900. And still no takers yet. Yeah, still no takers on 10 plus 5. 15 plus 10 is still rapid. And I'll try 10 plus 0 if I don't get anything in the next 30 seconds or so. And if not, I will have to abandon the rapid and just switch to a blitz game for the end. Interestingly enough, 15 plus 10 is the time control on chess.com, I think, that I used to do quite a lot. But I was a lot faster on that site. I tended to make moves in just a couple of seconds without ever thinking of tactics. So my rating on chess.com is a lot lower than my rating on this site. So I like to think that this is my true rating, and chess.com's is like my practice rating. Alright, nothing on that time control, so finally 10 plus 0. This is the one that's most likely to get picked, and as I said that, I have somebody... Ooh, a very, very strong player. This is not good. I don't shy away from challenges, but I don't want to be up against 2450. Alright. I can't be beating up 2100s forever. I need to play at least 1 or 2 games with somebody this strong. Icefire is... doesn't say what country they're from. I'm assuming a place that speaks English, or at least they can speak English if Icefire 11 is their name. They're doing a Dutch against my English. And how are they doing this? E5s. They're not waiting at all. D4 is definitely a move, which I've tried in the past, so I will try D4. The idea behind it is if they take with I take with the queen, and they have to actually defend themselves. Knight c6 is not that good because of queen e3 check. So knight f6 is the main line. And from memory, I can't remember if e4 is any good. I'm not sure it is. But bishop g5 is the one that I play, because after knight c6 you often have to go either queen e3 or queen d2, and that blocks in your c1 bishop. So by moving it out, I've actually stopped myself from being stuck behind my bishops with the queen. So e3 gets out my light squared bishop. They've left the game. I don't really want to claim victory, but I may do because I have no morals. In about a minute, they should come back. Sometimes it's just a temporary thing. I've had this before where it disconnects for like 10 seconds or 20 seconds and then they come back. Now e3 is not the best move, I don't think, but it's solid. Bishop g5 also probably isn't the best move. But easy for me to play, especially against someone of this strength. 2451, not even a question mark over their rating, so they definitely earned that rating, which means they are at least as strong as I am. And I don't want to be in a really tricky position against... well, I say tricky. I don't want to be in a position where I'm really badly coordinated and I have loads of problems with them on the initiative. I want to be the one either in control or at least equal in space and in general coordination and activity of my pieces. And they're back. Knight c6, yeah. So queen d2 looks pretty solid. Now knight to e4 is a move, but I can trade everything. And like this. So do I take the bishop or do I take the knight? I'm not sure. I think I should just take the knight. Keep it simple. Bishop b4, I have knight to back to c3, so they can't really play it. And also I can take their queen. Alright, and then... I think I have to take... Yeah, let's take it. Queen takes is probably the move. Then I'm not sure what to do. Maybe my knight should come round. I can't put it on h3 very effectively, but it might be the best idea. I like having the option though of c3, d4, f4, g3. So I have plenty of places to go with the knight. The bishop is going to go to e2, I expect, because I think the Fianchetto may be too slow. But if I go bishop e2 first, I then have to play knight h3, which I don't like as much. Now, knight goes somewhere. Knight to c3 is interesting. Knight d4 also looks quite good. Knight g3 I'm not a huge fan of, but I'm sure it's okay. Don't know. Maybe knight c3 is best. So I have d5 as a square. I'm hitting e4. And b5 is a potential idea as well. I suspect here they'll castle or do like bishop f5 to guard their pawn, which they've done. Now bishop e2, continue to develop my pieces. I can't go behind in development here. So we'll both castle at the same time. We could well be attacking on opposite sides of the board. I don't feel it's right for me to offer a draw this early in the game. They have castled. Now, which way to castle? Difficult one. If I castle kingside, then it's a question who gets the attack first. That could well be black with the open f file. Could be black. On the other hand, I can pawn storm very quickly with b4. Maybe this is a case of me not castling immediately and playing a plan on the queen side. So what if I play a3? Maybe they do king b8 for safety. Let's say it's give them a safe move. b4. What do they do next? Why do they play this? I just don't see what I'm doing with a3, b4. So, okay, I'm getting a pawn storm, but their knight has e5. Their rooks can go to e and f8. I don't think I'm inconveniencing them too much. Now, castle's kingside could be okay. I just don't like their initiative. Alright. I don't think a3 is quick enough. I have to go knight d5, then go b4. If queen g5, I just don't feel that castling kingside is the right plan. Might have to do a Kramnik style move with rook g1 and g4, or maybe even g4 straight away. Yeah, let's go g4, Kramnik. I think it was Kramnik who kind of popularized this idea. And if they go bishop back, which I don't think they would, but they might do, I might try h4 just to gain lots of space against them. Make their position look a bit, a bit cramped. And I might try for b4 soon. Queen g6 looks sensible. Now, is b4 any good? Thing is that I just don't know about b4. Just don't know. Maybe castle's queenside's good. Alright, it does put an end to my queenside hack idea. On the other hand, it does also protect my king, connect the rooks. And with this g4, h4 plan, because we castled on the same side, we can often attack on the other side of the board, which is the king side. So I've already got some space with that move. Now, rook to f8 attacks f2. Bishop f1 loses the g-pawn, so I may have to play knight f4 to block the f-pawn and go for their queen. They've done king b8, which is a very safe move, stopping knight e7. f4 is interesting, but I think they take en passant. Rook g1 might be interesting as well. I'm not sure I like it. King b1 is a bit passive. g5 looks a bit odd. h5 does get an attack on their queen, but I don't see what it's doing. I can't really see a good move for me. Queen c3 maybe to improve my pieces. Queen c2. I'm not sure I like that either. I'm not sure really is a move I like. Rook dg1 maybe? Yeah, okay, I don't know, rook dg1. Shame, I didn't like any of my moves. It's not a good sign. Knight to e5 is the thing I'm scared of. But I may be just about alright with h5. Try and deflect their queen from hitting any of my pawns. The good news is my bishop dominates the knight. Queen f7, yeah, it looks sensible. Now, I should probably go queen c2 here to try and win that e4 pawn. Oh, oh dear, I'm just losing f2, aren't I? Oh dear. Actually, maybe I have rook f1. Maybe I'm okay. They've done c6, so knight f4 is, to me, a no-brainer. Stops the queen takes f2, which I had missed. And still attacks the e4 pawn. d5 might be their best option here. I can't be too reckless. Should I take them? I do have g5 as an alternative move. Thing is, they take on c4 with the knight or the pawn, and I'm not totally convinced. So, takes. Maybe like queen b3 is a good way of sidestepping any pins to my king and queen. It's a good way of playing it, very safe. And their pawn is pinned to their queen. So d4 may not be that good. If rook c8 check, I think I can sidestep with king b1. So overall, my king position's a bit weaker. The person who would win if the queens came off could well be white, because I have the better bishop, I think. Then piece activity is roughly the same, and pawn structure, I'm not entirely sure. They do have two central pawns, but I'm not sure how good that is in the ending. But maybe their pawn structure is a touch better. Now, is g5 a good move? g5 could be interesting. Rook d1 could be okay, but they take on g4. King b1 might be safe. Maybe? I just don't know. Queen takes pawn is the obvious move. Then they take me and take on f2 with their rook on the 7th. Knight takes pawn, bishop e6. Just don't know in this position, actually. Rook h4 doesn't do anything. Thing is that they've got this move d4, which I take their queen, they take back. I can't take on d4 because my knight would drop. And that means that they could then play d3. Difficult. Alright, rook d1. I'm going to have to give up g-pawn. I don't like doing it, but it might be the best chance I have here. Yeah, bishop takes. I'll take them. Try and trade off everything and hope for the best. This is a position I'm not liking the look of. Wow, okay, I didn't see that move at all. Queen f6. I don't see what it does. It just looks like the right kind of idea to keep tension. King b1 maybe, just a sidestep. Stops any tempo gains with rook c8, which I am. I'm willing to stop rook c8. Now knight takes f2 is definitely a key move. But maybe rook c1 is okay. Yeah, let's go rook c1. Try and improve my pieces to their maximum potential. d5. Knight takes looks good here. Not sure which way to take. I think knight takes is best. Now, rook c7 is my threat. So queen d6, rook c7 maybe? I've got rook on the 7th. I've got something here. Yeah, okay, queen a6. So rook takes g7, queen f1 check. a4, does that do anything? a4, knight d3, king a2. I don't know, black just seems fine. But a4 is a potential idea. Knight b4 is quite funny. King takes rook, I take their queen. If queen somewhere, knight c6 might be good. So if queen f1, I go rook c1. If queen e2, can I go knight c6? Oh no, they take my rook. Rook takes pawn, maybe as a draw? Yeah, I might draw this actually with accurate play. Knight b4, queen e2, let's say, and then rook takes pawn. I get a draw. And if they're not really careful, if they do some really odd move, yeah, doing that, right, I'm going to take the draw. I'm not interested in playing this on. I don't want to give myself a difficult time. Just check and draw. Simple, simple play. No, he's not taking the draw. Doesn't want to. All right. Well, I'm going to just keep checking along here. I don't want this game to continue. Check. I think I can just go e6, d6, c6 forever. This isn't the best game I've ever played, but drawing to somebody of this strength is definitely a step in the right direction. Yeah, draw. Okay, let's analyse this game. This looks very interesting. I think I misplayed this somewhere, but it's hard to tell where. And yeah, I gained 1 point. So that means I am at 3/4 of the way towards this 2400 goal. 38 moves, but I think the really key areas was earlier in the game, sort of like move 10, move 15. Both playing quite well so far at the beginning. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's the last like 5 moves of the game, which is probably all drawn. My opponent's played extremely well so far. He's got very low inaccuracy. I have as well, to be fair. I've had 1 inaccuracy. Yeah, it's basically better for black almost the whole way through. I must have gone wrong somewhere. Maybe my opening wasn't very good. Possibly bishop g5 is not correct, and d4 is a bit suspicious already on move 3 or move 2, whenever it was. Just thought that it was an active idea. Oh well. 2 inaccuracies now. But overall, this is very nice. It's coming to the end of the analysis because the opening will have been odd. Okay, I was actually better at the opening then. Wow, that's amazing. So we both had 2 inaccuracies, and the centre pawn loss is very, very small. It's only about 10. Both played very accurately there. Though this engine analysis is not the best because it does have to kind of rush and only spend a few seconds on each move. So it is possible we played a lot worse than this, but a quick cursory glance by the computer seems to think we played well. And I love this. It says one of black's inaccuracies on move 1, f5. That's very, very harsh. I would never be that mean to the Dutch. It's perfectly legitimate opening. So really they only played 1 inaccuracy at best. Yeah, okay, so bishop g5 is not the best move. Apparently I should do knight to d5. I should know this theory better. I think knight f3 might be the more common move, actually, now I think about it. And then knight c6, and you go queen e3 check, and it's about equal. Or you can do queen d1, just sort of going into a position where black has equalised. Alright, so bishop g5 is a mistake for some reason, or an error for some reason. Bishop e7, e3. Alright, so it seems to like white for the first 10 moves or so. I trade pieces. Possibly queen d2 is not correct, because after this trade of pieces, black does have a bit more space than me, due to that e4 pawn. Knight e2, d6. Knight c3 is level. Okay, and the computer now just starts to value black's space advantage. I think that's what it comes down to. It seemed to like white at first, but slowly it's come to realise that the space advantage is important. g5, and I really like my thrust with g4. It's not technically correct. It seems to be losing some of my evaluation here, because it was 0.1, now it's 0.4. Overall, though, it's a very good way to play, because it does force black to make tough decisions. Castling was actually maybe one of the best moves. It's hard for me to work out where to go with my king. I didn't think leaving it in the centre forever was a good plan. So by kind of process of elimination, castling queenside was my only option. Yeah, king b8 might have been a slight error. And yeah, one of my inaccuracies is rook d, g1. Yeah, queen c2 is better apparently, targeting the e4 pawn earlier than I did in the match. My guess is that knight f4 might be good as a follow-up to emphasize that their queen will have to move, which would unguard their e4 pawn. Alright, so knight e5 is their like one true inaccuracy. It's very level after knight there. Apparently queen f7 is stronger, which would give away a pawn, so it does look... Oh no, it doesn't give away a pawn, sorry, because my queen's not on c2 yet. Okay, that's the nuance then. Queen f7 first, attacking f2, so I then can't like take their pawn, then lose f2. I'd lose f2 first. Alright, so h5, queen f7. Maybe h5 is a waste of time because it forced their queen to where they wanted. And queen c2, by some miracle, is not losing. But I did miss that queen takes f2 as a move. It's possible, though, that I go rook f1 after queen takes f2. And then maybe it's a draw by perpetual or something. c6, knight f4, d5. Yeah, and taking looked right, just because black solidifies too much in the centre if I don't challenge them. Then queen b3 to step out of pins. Rook f8, rook d1. Yeah, it definitely gives black as having the advantage here. And it's possible that taking my pawn was not the right idea, because it did allow me to trade off more pieces, using the kind of the Dolmatov rule of trading to draw or trading to win. And king b1, safe move. f2. Rook c1 was definitely a good move. Rook to the open file. Takes, knight takes. Okay, so queen d6 then is a sort of small error by black, because it's apparently half a pawn better, or just under. But queen d6 leaves it as a draw. Or at least there must be a repetition in here somewhere. Possibly my move was right, because it was my least active piece. So rook c8 felt correct. Yeah, knight b4 was somehow right. Queen e2. Okay, yeah, and then rook takes b7 draw. And the rest of it just perpetual. Alright, I'm very pleased with that game. I thought that I played a lot worse, and possibly I did, but the swift going over by the computer seems to think I only made 2 errors in the whole game. Okay, fantastic. And 23.75. Just need 25 more points and I'll have reached that 2400 goal for my rapid play rating. Alright, thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.